So, hello. So we are a few minutes early. This is Speaking the Language of the Universe, Law of Attraction special broadcast today. It's Trevor Emdon speaking, and we're just waiting for people to arrive. So we will just hang on until people come. Hello. Right, just to say, which I'll repeat in a minute as more people come, but just to say, just to give you a bit of housekeeping, you should be able to see in the bottom right of your screen a red tag. I think it says "Talk to us" or something on it. So you need to, if you just mouse over that, it'll pop up, and you put your name and email in there, and then you can ask questions or join in the conversation in the chat box as we go along. So we are live. I'm just waiting for, we're not quite at the top of the hour yet. And people have things to do. So I'm sure they will come. Hello, here's somebody. Welcome, welcome. We're just waiting for more people to arrive. I was just saying, if you look in the bottom right of your screen, you should see a red tab. If you mouse over that, I think you just mouse over it, you might have to click on it, I'm not sure. It enables you to join in the chat. So if you would put your name and your email in that box, then I'll be able to see questions that you type in, and hopefully be able to answer you as well. So that's how you get into the chat box. So we'll just give people a few more minutes to arrive because it's still early. Always feel at this point I should sing or tap dance, something to to warm the audience up, like they do in theatres and live shows. Hello, a few more people. Put your name and email in the chat box so I can, so you can ask questions as we go along. And welcome, newcomers. Hi, Jeff. Just giving people a couple more minutes. The chat box is a red tab in the bottom right of your screen. If you mouse over it, you should be able to see two boxes. You put your name and your email in, and then you are in the chat. And you can type questions. and I can see them and answer you. Hi, Colin. Just mime. Good idea. Good idea. That'll make an interesting webinar. The guitar. Yeah, I could play that. I could play that too. Wendy's here. So, Jamil, have you heard me play guitar before? This person is a glutton for punishment. No, I'm actually quite good on the guitar. I shouldn't. I don't think Eric Clapton's got anything to fear, but I'm okay. But that's not what we're here for today. Let us stick to the topic. Right. Well, we're about 3 minutes past the hour. I don't want to keep people waiting too long, so I'm sure other people will arrive. There's quite a lot of people signed up for this. So you should be able to see a screen that says "Welcome to Speaking the Language of the Universe." If this is a webinar chat, no, it's a webinar chat, Colin. It's run by RunClick. That's the software that's driving the whole thing, in combination with Google Hangouts. But I'm seeing your questions, so so if you type in that box, I can see the questions. Okay, so just to clarify that then for everybody. Okay, the chat box is, and the software that I'm using is called RunClick, which enables me to have a chat box and does various other neat tricks as well from my end. But I can see your questions. Well, I can now. What I'm going to do from my end is I'm going to minimize the screen so that I can see my own slideshow. So can you just put in the chat box if you can see a screen that looks like a blackboard and says "Welcome to Speaking the Language of the Universe"? Can you just let me know that? Oh, hi, Anna. Welcome. Can you see "Welcome to Speaking the Language"? I just need to know that you can see what I think you can see. Otherwise, this is going to be horribly wrong. Hi. Can you see a screen saying "Welcome to Speaking the Language of the Universe"? Please tell me. Please put a yes in the chat box, and then we'll start. Somebody, or no if you can't, obviously. No, I'm not getting any answers to this. So I know, I'm confident you can hear me because you've been corresponding with me. So here we go. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Okay. So in that case, I'm going to open up my slideshow, which means that please ask questions as you go along. Thanks, Jeff. Please ask questions as you go along because I don't want you to forget them. I'm not ignoring you, but I can't see both screens at the same time. So I have to maximize one to see another. So I'm going to open up from my end my slideshow. Shouldn't make any difference to what you can see. And I'll come back to the chat box later. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Speaking the Language of the Universe. And I thank you very, very much for giving up some of your valuable time to be here. I do really understand what that means, and obviously I don't understand what it means to each of you personally, but I know that time is precious, and I have a presentation for you which I'm confident you will feel is time well spent. So I'm going to show you something today which I think is quite a breakthrough in the law of attraction. So here's what's in store. A way to communicate with the universe so it will listen and respond to you. Now, those of you who know the secret, I'll mention that in a minute, but those of you who know it, as far as I'm concerned, The Secret came out very late in my relationship, shall we say, with the law of attraction. I was very pleased with it. I like The Secret. I have both the DVD, the original DVD, with all the people in it before they edited a lot of people out who fell out with the makers and so on. But that's another story. I have the original DVD, and I have the book, and I think I have the CDs as well somewhere. So I really like it. It has its limitations, however, and I'll say more about that as we go along. So what I'm going to reveal to you today is not just a version of The Secret by any means. And I will show you a simple process. If I'm going to take you through a simple process, I hope you brought pens and paper, by the way. If you didn't, you'll have to do it in your head and then do it later when the presentation's over. But I will take you through this process, which will amplify your ability to manifest the life you dream of. So please stick a yes in the chat box if you think that's an agenda that's worth being here for. I hope you do. So let me just briefly give you a bit of background about some of the ways it's affected my life. And I'm aware that some of you know me quite well, and some of you probably don't know me at all. So here's just a couple of things that changed for me when I started, or as I've applied the kinds of ideas that I'm going to show you today about the law of attraction. In the top left there, you might guess that I'm the one on the left. The gorgeous lady on the right is my wife, and I had been through heartbreak after heartbreak, 2 divorces, long periods of loneliness. My love life was rubbish prior to this, and in the early 2000s, I decided relationships weren't for me. I was going to just spend the rest of my days as a bachelor. And then in 2006, I changed my mind about that. I thought, well, I've had 5 years of having fun and being on my own, but I'm getting bored with that now. But I knew that I had changed. And that if I wanted to find someone, I could, and I would. And that lady is called Anna, and she's my wife, and she and I met through the most extraordinary circumstances, which is another story and probably needs a book about it, really. But we met on one day. It was a Tuesday. I knew immediately that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. I proposed to her the next day on a bus, and she said yes. And that was 2006. So we're still happily together. In the bottom right-hand corner is my Mercedes. Now that is my dream car, and that turned up 3 years ago. As I record this, 3 years ago, and it turned up in, again, an extraordinary way. We had another car which we both liked. We very comfortable car, very reliable car, but it just got old, and it started to need a lot of repairs, and it was becoming more expensive to keep it on the road than it was worth. Some big repairs. So right at that minute when those big repairs came in, and partly because of the big repairs, I did not have enough cash to go and buy another car. But a C-Class Mercedes is a car I've always wanted. And I did some visualization work with that, which I know is fairly standard fare for law of attraction. But I actually had a picture of a car identical to that on the wall of my little home office where I'm speaking to you from right now. And that had been there 2 or 3 months, I suppose. And then one day, my wife, who you can see from the photograph is Asian, said to me, "I'm out of rice." And that's a bit like one of us saying, "I'm running out of oxygen." It's not just a little bag of rice. She needs a huge sack of it, and she eats a lot of rice. So I said, "Wow, we better go and shop for some then." So we went out shopping, and she works in the catering industry as well. So you can see a lot of our lives about food. And when we got to town, we only had a couple of hours because she had to go back for her evening shift. She said, I just need to pop into the bank and check my bank balance. And I said, well, I might as well go to my bank and do the same then. Now, I have no reason to do that, partly because whenever I need to check my bank balance, I do it online. And partly because I knew what was in there. I had a job at that time, day job. I'd just been paid. I had my pay slip. I knew almost to the penny how much was in my bank account. I don't know why I did it. Could have just waited outside for her. Could have looked in a shop window. But instead, I decided to walk the few hundred yards from her bank to my bank and check my balance. If I hadn't done that, things could have been very different, because when the ticket came out, there were thousands of pounds in there that I thought shouldn't have been there. Thousands. And I nearly went, woohoo, in the bank, which is probably not a good idea in a bank. So fortunately, I restrained myself. But by the time I got that ticket, my wife had already arrived, and I went, look, 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 look. I actually went to the cashier and checked that it was real, not a mistake. And he said, oh, yes, that comes from this. And it was a fund that I had no idea even owed me money. But it was definitely and genuinely my money. Of course, the bank wanted to, oh, we can put that in a high-interest account for you. So, no, 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 no. I need a car. So thinking that, time was ticking by and my wife had to get back for her shift, I suggested that we give that a miss, and that I would go shopping for a car the following day. And she went, no, no, let's go looking now. We had an hour and a half. We drove to one showroom and got out of the car, got onto the forecourt, and she spotted that car and said, oh, look, there's your dream car. Now, they never have Mercedes in this showroom, and there was just this one, and we had our backs to it. Or it had its back to us. And I said, I bet the ticket on the windscreen is going to be way above even what I've just got. And when I walked round to the front, it was slap bang in the middle of the amount that just landed in my account. And so I test drove it, did a bit of negotiating with the salesman, and was able to buy it for cash that day. So we went out for a bag of rice and came home with a Mercedes. It's a great myth in our family. So those are just a couple of the tangible, quite spectacular things that have happened to me, the change in my life. But what I can't show you in photographs is the change in me and the change in happiness and peace of mind and the sense that if I want to do something, the kinds of things that people say, oh, I wouldn't take that kind of a risk, and I don't know how you could do that. And I do quite a lot of that with my life. People who know me will tell you, and I just know. I have ways of knowing that things will work out, and ways of knowing when they won't as well. It's not foolishness; it's actually trust. So it's changed my life dramatically, tangibly and intangibly. So let me just give you a little bit. I don't want to dwell too long on me, but I give you a little bit of background about me. Just two things really that are relevant here. I'm just going to have a quick sip of a drink. I'm a success coach and a life coach and a law of attraction coach these days. And I trained in something called NLP. I'm an NLP practitioner. Now, if you don't know what that is, it stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. If you really want to know what NLP is, please Google it, because it will take far too long to explain here. However, the one thing that I can say about it that for our purposes you need to know is that it is to do with the way we process information. Okay, so the simplest example I can give you of this is to say, if you are walking down the street and you slip on a banana skin, you don't hurt yourself, but you feel foolish, you feel embarrassed. And as you get up and brush yourself down, you say to yourself, I suppose one day I'll look back on this and laugh. The NLP question that I would ask you is, why wait? Because the incident isn't going to change. You slipped on a banana skin, it's over. The way you review it, that's review it in your head, is going to make a difference to the way you feel about it. And by saying one day I'll be able to look back on this and laugh, you're already acknowledging that there's a part of you who already realizes that. You know that. You just don't act on that consciously, mostly. So how we view and review information in our heads changes the way we feel. Now, why is that important? Because when you feel differently about something, you'll act differently. When you act differently, you make different decisions, and different decisions are going to shape your destiny. It's massively important. Nothing could be more important. We should teach this stuff in schools because it's really easy to do and understand, and no one teaches you how to manage your brain. That's a soapbox of mine. I'll get off it for now because otherwise I will be there for a long time. Okay, so but I'm going to come back to NLP through the course of this presentation. Okay, so you'll have a little more insights into it as we go along. I also trained to teach metaphysics, which includes the law of attraction. I trained to do that in the early 1990s with a lady that introduced me to the law of attraction, really, a lady called Jill Edwards, who's sadly no longer in the physical realm. She wrote a book. She was a British psychologist turned teacher of metaphysics, and she wrote several books in her lifetime, the first of which was my eye-opener to all this. It's called Living Magically. There's a book recommendation for you, Jill Edwards, Living Magically. So it's still available, I'm sure. And I went and trained with her on several of her courses to teach, to understand, first of all, and then to teach metaphysics. So I have those two like trophies, if you like, that I can sort of hang on the wall and say, you know, I've done those things. But it was my own experiences that eventually made me realize that I actually could blend those two things together. So, and those experiences were when my life was falling apart. My first marriage was a disaster from beginning to end, and the ending of it was traumatic from the point of view that I lost daily access to my infant son at the time, who's now strapping man of 23 and a great guy. We have a good relationship nowadays, but back then it was very painful, and it also left me with massive debt problems, which I had no way of seeing my way out of at the time. So I had no love life, no family, no money, a massive mortgage that I couldn't afford, and also my career, which was in the British National Health Service, because of what was going on politically in the country at the time, and locally because the team I'd worked with, particularly the team leader, who was a wonderful psychiatrist and friend, was on the verge of retirement. So everything was falling apart around me, and I had no way of seeing a way forward. And it was sort of what I suppose pulled me out of that crisis. I went through it for a while without realizing, was bringing NLP and metaphysics together. And when I did, it was like, bam, everything changed. Everything changed. I changed, and everything changed to match. So if you want to know who I am, I'm the guy that brought NLP and law of attraction together, and I made it happen. I got fantastic results out of that. So I'm going to show you something about that today. So why even actually bother with the law of attraction? Why is it so appealing? Well, see, I think the law of attraction is really, what the appeal of it is, it's a way of saying, you know, here's a way that I can control whether I'm successful and happy or not. That's very appealing, obviously. And so what I love about it is because I believe every one of us has the ability to fulfill our deepest and most heartfelt dreams. I believe we are born with that ability. We're born with the dreams. As we become aware and able to think and conscious from infancy, we become aware of things that attract us and things that don't interest us. And that's different for every one of us. And I believe we have the ability to fulfill those dreams. In, I think it's the Buddhist word, they call it dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A. Your dharma. It's like your path. People say, well, you know, I'm looking for a path. And it's like, well, actually, the path seems to find you, I think. I believe we have the ability to fulfill them. Otherwise, what's the point of having them? I also believe that we're not meant to live frustrated or mediocre lives. I genuinely believe that. What's the point of marking time, paying the bills, doing a job that you don't particularly like, maybe even being in a relationship you're not particularly happy in, marking time to get through it without too much disturbance until the grave? You know, Earl Nightingale, the late Earl Nightingale, great personal development leader that he was, once said, most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to the grave. And he was making that point sardonically. What is the point of that? Life isn't for that. Life is to fulfill your dreams, and in the process, of course, to inspire, help, and encourage and motivate others. It's not about being selfish and giving nothing back. Quite the contrary, as you're about to see. And I believe that every man, woman, and child deserves fulfillment, success, personal happiness, a sense of self-worth, and overall peace of mind. Now, you may disagree with me about any of that, but I'd be surprised if anyone, either here today on this presentation, attending this presentation, or beyond, is going to essentially disagree with that. Every man, woman, and child deserves fulfillment, success, personal happiness, a sense of self-worth, and overall peace of mind. Isn't that what we all want? And those are our birthrights, I think. Not only our birthrights, but actually things that we have at birth, and we kind of lose along the way, and there's no real reason for that other than how we're conditioned. Properly understood, the law of attraction gives you all of that, and quite a lot more, I have to say. That's why I like it. That's why I've studied it. And because there was a time when I was completely skeptical about it. I just desperately needed something to latch onto, as I told you, back in the early 1990s. And Jill Edwards, fortunately, was a very credible teacher, because she had a background of being a trained psychologist. I met her many times. I knew her quite well. She was a very sensible, down-to-earth lady. She used to describe herself as a fairy with with hobnail boots and her head in the clouds, I think she'd say. She certainly had her feet on the ground. So, why didn't The Secret work? Now, obviously, some people will say that The Secret did work. The people that were in The Secret will certainly say that it worked. And I guess in many ways, it's obvious that it did for them. I don't know what's going on in each of their personal lives, but clearly they became relatively, or even very, famous and rich through doing it. But millions of people have tried using The Secret. Well, here's what people think is the reasons why it doesn't work. They think they might be doing it wrong, that they're not doing the technique right. They think there may be subconscious beliefs sabotaging their efforts. They think they can't visualize, or they're not clear enough on what they want. All of which, in my mind, is baloney. Because let's just look at that for a second. You might be doing it wrong. Well, it's not a technique. You can't do gravity wrong. You're going to stick to the earth whether you like it or not, right? There may be subconscious belief sabotaging. Yes, if there are, they're subconscious. So how on earth would I know if they're there, and if they are there, what they are? You'll never dig those up, and you'll never be sure that you've got them all. You can't visualize. Well, you don't actually ever stop doing that, really. There's no special technique to do that. If I say to you, what do you want for dinner tomorrow? Somehow or other, although you don't consciously, you don't make a picture of the plate with the food on it in your head, but you do something that, you think about maybe what's in the fridge or the larder, or what's on the menu at the restaurant you're going to go to, and you will imagine it in some way. You might not use your visual sense. You might use your sense of taste or smell to get that particular one clear in your mind. You go, I really could do it. A nice chicken curry would do well. On the other hand, you might hate chicken curry and you want sushi or whatever. But of course you can visualize. Visualizing doesn't bring things into your world, into your life, and you're not clear enough on what you want. Well, there is an issue about that, but we'll look at that. But the way that it's taught generally in the law of attraction is it's like you have to get really, really clear, right down to the last detail, as if you're kind of sending out a catalogue order. It's baloney. Okay, so let's start again. You have desires, hopes, and dreams to fulfill. You're born with those. You have the imagination enabling you to dream. You're born with that too. You're born with the faculty known as imagination. I don't know about you, I don't know if you've ever asked yourself, why do I have an imagination? But as far as I know, no other species does. I think even though I have, a fairly intelligent cat in our household, if we ask her what she wants for dinner, even if she could understand that language, she would not be able to imagine the next meal. She just waits till she's hungry and then says, I want something again. And whatever we put in front of her, well, she's a cat, so she's a bit fussy, but she's going to eat that. She doesn't say, "Oh, can I have the other one? Can we have a change today?" They don't. And certainly, other creatures, other species, don't imagine themselves in different situations. As far as I know, she never has once sat down and thought, "How can I be a better cat?" She just is what she is. And it's partly why we love animals, because they are what they are and they put on no airs and graces and pretenses. But we can dream and imagine ourselves. You have the potential to realize those dreams. Look, everybody does. If you're conscious and alive, you have the potential to realize your dreams, turn them into reality. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to dream them. So there's no reason for the frustration. So why don't we get what we want in life? Well, incongruity is one thing. In other words, we want one thing and feel we have to have another. Quick example. Suppose that you say, I really want $1 million or pounds, or whatever your currency is, in the bank. I'm going to really visualize and imagine that. While the rest of you is thinking and feeling, I'm stuck with this boring drudgery job. There's incongruity there. Can you see that's not a clear communication at all? Well, it is a clear communication. The clear communication is, I'm stuck with this boring job. Secondly, the universe does not respond to neediness. If you're saying, I really, really need something to change, I need money, I need a new lover, I need a new home, whatever it is, the universe has it's not that the universe doesn't respond because it's spiteful. It doesn't respond because it doesn't understand. It doesn't have that language. Because why doesn't the universe respond to neediness? Because the universe needs nothing. The universe is total and complete. It is not possible for the universe to understand, I don't have something and I want it. Not possible. And also the universe doesn't know what a Ferrari is. Now, I don't know, I'll put that in as a kind of a joke. But I picked on Ferraris because I so often see websites promising, press this button, buy my course, buy my widget, whatever it is, and have this fabulous lifestyle. And a lot of them have, and you get brochures and leaflets I've seen as well, not just websites. They have a slick-looking guy usually standing in front of a Ferrari. I don't especially want a Ferrari, as I've already told you. I've got a Mercedes. I've never particularly wanted a Ferrari, but I know they're gorgeous cars and they're very expensive. But if you visualize a Ferrari in your driveway, that's fine for you. You can imagine that all you want. But the universe doesn't get, Ferrari, I better wrap one of those and send it down to that guy's address. So let's stick with Ferraris for a minute. Let's use that example. So let's imagine your desire is for a Ferrari. It doesn't have to be. Just imagine. Okay. Visualizing it, as I've mentioned already, is something you'll do anyway. If you really want it, you will imagine yourself in some way driving a Ferrari, owning a Ferrari, paying for a Ferrari. Maybe you'll even take a Ferrari for a test drive. But none of those things will actually make the Ferrari appear as yours in your driveway on their own. That won't make it happen. The question that will begin the process of making it happen is, what do you want one for? Now stick with me, because we're beginning now to get to the core of this. This is the beginning of how you speak the language of the universe. Okay? What do you want one for? Now, you're going to tell me not to be stupid. Of course I know what one for. I want a Ferrari because it's gorgeous and it's a wonderful car and it's got this kind of an engine, and I don't care. I don't know, because I don't want one, and if I don't want one, I can't imagine what it would feel like to you to own one. And even if I did want one, I can only tell you what it feels like to me to own one. And again, the universe doesn't care how big the engine is or even what color it is, right? So it's how you imagine it would make you feel that's going to matter. That's what makes the difference. So let's dig into that a bit deeper. How will it feel to have your Ferrari, or indeed anything? So this is where you grab your pen. Okay. Now let me just, I've said quite a lot, and we're going to go through some stuff here in a second. So let me just go and check and see what's happening at your end of things. I'll just check in on the, yeah, lots of questions. Okie dokie. Right. So, okay, so that's excellent. Thank you. That's not a question. Yes, and thank you, Colin. Okay, you're all happy. Okay, cool. There are some more people here who have not put their names in the chat box, I think. So for the newcomers, or new since I started showing the screen so I couldn't see you, in the bottom right of your screen, you should see like a red tab. If you mouse over it, it will pop up and you'll see two boxes to put your name and your email in, and then you click on that and that lets you into the chat box. So then I can see that you're here and you can ask questions. And what I said to people at the start was, please ask your questions as we go along, because I am going to cover a lot of stuff. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see the question box while I've got the slides up on the screen. Okay, so thanks for that. So and thank you for being here. Those of you that have turned up, and I didn't thank you at the beginning. Well, I did thank everybody at the beginning, but you weren't here, so I'm thanking you now. All right, back to the slides. So how will it feel to have your Ferrari or anything? So this is where you grab your pen. Now think of something. It can be a Ferrari, it can be anything you like. Just think of something that you deeply desire. Doesn't matter what it is, and I'm not going to ask you, so, and nobody else is going to know, so that's fine. And write down the thing, because you already know what it is. And I tell you what, actually, when you think a thought and you think, you know, I really want something, do you not think that the universe already knows that? You know, this idea that you have to process this information and visualize it and get really clear about it and hold it in your head, and I don't think so. You know, if you plant an acorn in the right kind of soil, in the right kind of climate, you can walk away. The universe knows how to turn that into an oak tree, and in time into an entire forest. I have no idea how that happens. It's magic. But you don't need to do anything else. Okay? And the same is true with the law of attraction. It's not a big technique that's hard work. Okay? And the reason I'm going to take you through a process now isn't because I'm saying, well, you know, this is how to do the law of attraction. Please don't get that idea. That's not the point. The point is we've forgotten so much how to trust how life actually works that we have forgotten and overlook it. We don't believe that we're capable of achieving these things. So grab your pen, think of something you deeply desire, and write down at the top of the page how you imagine it will feel to have it. The feeling, the overall feeling. Okay? So, and you might come up with several answers, and that's fine. There are no rights or wrongs here, by the way. Everyone's going to be different. So even if all of you want a Ferrari and you've all got different answers, that's fine as to why, you know, how it make you feel. I guess somebody who genuinely did want a Ferrari, if it was me, I guess it would make them feel proud. I guess it would make them feel successful. I guess it would make them feel I've arrived in some way. It's kind of an ego trip, isn't it? But you already know I'm a Mercedes owner, so I can't throw stones in that particular glass house. So it might be feelings like that. But you might want love, or you might want a new house, or you might want a new job, or you might want just more money, or whatever, right? And more money is actually quite an interesting one because it's abstract. And therefore makes it very difficult to visualize as well. People have really struggled with that one. How do I visualize, you know, 100,000 or £1 million or dollars? How do you visualize that? You can't, and you don't need to. Well, you can't do it very easily. But you can imagine how it will feel to have it. Now, when you've got that feeling, or even 2 or 3 feelings, and you might, if you've got more than one, you might look at them and think, well, which of those would I say is the primary one? write down underneath that why you want that feeling. Why do you want to feel proud or successful or secure or loved or abundant or whatever it is that you've written down? Why? What's the purpose of feeling like that? Why do you want that feeling? Now, it sounds like a silly question, but the answer will have to be couched in terms of because I want to feel such and such, or because it makes me feel, it has to come from an emotional place. Okay, and eventually, well, I say eventually, when you do that, I want you to do it again. Why do you want that feeling? And then why do you want that feeling? Until you get to a point where you go, because it just feels wow, or some sound that you can't spell. Okay, now I'm gonna keep going because this is a presentation and you might not have had time to do that. To do this properly, you should probably give yourself 20-30 minutes quiet time on your own. Obviously, I can't do that while I'm presenting this. You can do that on your own later, but that's the process. Okay, when you get to a wordless place, you've arrived. Now, let me just explain that for a second, because what happens is we have emotions, which I think should be spelled E-motion, E-motion, energy in motion. See, little e, like in E equals mc squared, stands for energy. Energy in motion is what feelings are. And when we call them deep emotions, we call them moving experiences. Okay? Now, look, ladies and gents, if you see a really hot guy or girl, in the street or in a coffee shop or somewhere, whether you say it out loud or you just say it to yourself, what you'll probably go is, wow. Now, that's not a word. I know we've spelt it as a word now, but it's just a sound. Okay? When we triumph over something, when we have some triumphant moment, pass a great test, or get the all clear from a frightening disease or something, we go woohoo or whoopee or something. That's not a word. I know we can turn them into words. We can spell those phonetically. We can turn them into things we can read out, and some of them have even entered dictionaries. I'm sure wow is probably in most dictionaries now, but they're not actual words. You can't. If I say what does wow mean, you'll have to tell me, well, it's a sound we make when we feel fantastic about something or excited about something, or get a really big good surprise. So it's a feeling, and our feelings are wordless. Guess what? The universe doesn't have words either, because actually energy in motion, emotion, is what the universe is. Energy in motion. Everything is energy, and energy is always in motion, otherwise it wouldn't be energy. So when you feel something, you are actually now beginning to speak the language of the universe. That's what the universe understands. It understands you want to feel like that. And by doing this process, you just gave yourself a little sampler of that feeling. And that was actually like putting a little electric bzz out into the universe. It got that. It got that. Right? So now you're actually communicating with it. But there's more, because now we start to get to the magic. Now, as I said, everything in the universe is energy. Every change in the universe, and it's change that you want when you desire something that's not in your world yet, change is what you want, is an exchange of energy. Now, do you remember we learned in physics, matter is neither created nor destroyed in the course of chemical action? I might have learned it in chemistry, can't remember. But it's one of Newton's laws of physics, as I remember. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Now, that's really important. If matter is neither created nor destroyed, then it's already here. Everything's already here. It just changes form all the time. Everything is already created. It just changes form. So if you eat an apple, you haven't destroyed the apple. You've changed its form. Part of it's going to become you. It'll add nutrients to your bloodstream and help you, regrow your fingernails and your replenish dead cells, whatever. The energy in the apple that's alive. It's actually alive, right? And then parts of the apple, your body says, oh, I don't need that, and it'll eliminate it and then refertilize the ground and grow more apples. Right? So you're not destroying anything. You're just changing its form. So it's really important you understand every change in the universe is an exchange of energy. Exchange. Give and take. Your feelings are energy, but to receive your Ferrari, which I've just used as an example, it can be anything, you have to exchange energy with the universe. Now, the most common example of exchanging things that we know in day-to-day life is shopping, right? You go shopping, you exchange some money, which nowadays is very rarely physical cash, by the way. So you don't even do that. You give the shopkeeper maybe a plastic card, or so now you can even just swipe it across a machine without making physical contact. And it goes bloop, and it knows who you are, and it takes that amount of non-physical money out of your account and adds it to the shop's account. I've done it in bars. It's bloop. My goodness. If you found that card on the floor, you could spend somebody else's money. It seems to me. Don't particularly like that, but anyway. So we have this ridiculous situation now where we're actually, all we're doing is exchanging electronic pulses, which add and subtract numbers from one account to another. And someone says, yes, that's okay. That's gone. Those numbers have now been added to the total of my account, and I can go with my bit of plastic and spend the numbers that you just added to my account in someone else's account. Nothing ever actually physically changes hands at all, often, right? No physical change of a thing. So it's just a representation of, we say, yeah, I'll agree that that pint of beer is worth that many units of money, and you can take that by electronically swiping this, an invisible signal gets transmitted to a little machine that tells one computer to take from one and add to another. Incredible, right? And now the bartender's happy because you've added to the bar's bank account, and you get your pint of beer and you're happy. Okay, so that's how it works. You exchange energy, you get what you want, right? But you have to give something to get something. That's never different. That's not just a law of shopping, that's a law of the universe. Okay, so what's your currency? Your currency is energy. Okay, and energy in motion, emotion, is how you feel when you have it. In other words, you have to give what you want to get. You have to give what you want to get. But there's a problem, because you don't have a Ferrari to give, duh, right? Otherwise you'd have given it, or you wouldn't give it, you'd have had it, and you wouldn't be wanting it. Okay, but you can give the feeling. So let's look again. Have you ever heard the expression, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? Why do you suppose that is? Because lots of people just quote that glibly. When the student's ready, the teacher appears. Why? Why does that happen? Couldn't it be just as true to say, when the owner is ready, the Ferrari will appear? Because what actually is going on there is an exchange of energy. When the student is ready, that means that that person that we're labeling the student has in some way changed or grown or adapted to some situation, or found themselves in a place where now they're open to receiving new wisdom or new understanding in some way. Does that make sense? So the same will be true when the owner's ready, the Ferrari will appear. So you can't be needy or greedy or desperate or any of those kind of taking emotions, wanting to receive emotions, and have the universe respond to it. It can't do it. It's not punishing you. It just can't do it. Doesn't understand. Not receiving the signal. Disconnect. Okay? The question is, how do you make yourself ready? How do you become ready to be a Ferrari owner, or a lover, or a wealthy person? How do you do that? You can't force it or fake it. Again, the universe knows. Not because the universe is judging you. The universe isn't going, oh, that's a terrible performance, next. Not that. It's just that the energy isn't matching. It's not the right currency. You can't manipulate the universe. You can't use willpower. You can't go, come on, I want my Ferrari today. You can't do that with your fists clenched and your face all tense and your voice all choked up. And you have no idea what's going on in your subconscious. So if your subconscious is sabotaging it, you have no idea. You're not conscious of it. That's why it's subconscious. So who cares about that? So you can't do those things. That's why the techniques, many of the techniques that you've seen or have been derived from ideas from The Secret, don't seem to work. Here's the law, or part of the law. You can never receive what you are unable to give. You might want to write that down. You can never receive what you are unable to give. You see, you're always interacting with the universe. When you're desperate, needy, greedy, it's as though you dam the flow. Miracles do not happen unless you create the context for them. You might want to write that down as well. Miracles don't happen unless I create the context for them. You don't create the miracle, you create the space. And you always receive exactly what you give. And its corollary, you don't receive what you don't give. It's as simple as that. To create your reality, you first have to become it in energy terms. You have to become the thing you want. Now, so let's have a look. If you want a perfect partner, you have to become that person. Not the partner, you have to become the person that's deserving of the partner with all the qualities. If you want abundance, you have to become rich in spirit. And if you want the Ferrari, what was the feeling? Being successful? Help others to become successful. And not just car dealers. Right? They'll be very happy when you go and buy the Ferrari. At least one of them will. Right? But what was the feeling? Pride, success, self-confidence. What's the feeling that you want? You've got to become that. And I suggest probably if it is something like a Ferrari, it is something to do with confidence. I will feel like I'm a better person if I'm driving around in one of those. Well, in what way do you feel less of a person or lesser than others right now? That's where you've got to dig. Do you see how personal development and metaphysics can't be separated? The law of attraction doesn't come to you, it comes from you. Life isn't reacting to you, life is responding to you. It's not happening to you, it's responding to you. So, before I tell you how to do all of this, I have a question for you, and it's this. And I'm going to stop for a second and look at the chat box and see if you've got any questions as well. So here's my question, and I would really appreciate it if you post answers into the chat box. Just a yes or no will do. If we stop this webinar right now, based on what I've shown you so far, would you agree you've probably got more than you've had from paid courses or other material about the law of attraction or indeed personal development? So that's my question. If we stopped right now, would you agree that you've probably got more than you'd have had from paid material? So let me just go and have a look, see how you guys are doing out there. Hello, lots of people here. Okay. So any question, any answers to my question? If we stopped right now, would you agree that this webinar is rich material that you probably would have paid money for, or maybe have paid money for less? Oh, you're all very quiet. All right. Well, I'm not going to hold proceedings up too long, but I'd really like that bit of feedback if you have a moment just to type in the chat box. Okay, so let's move on. I'll come back and have a look at the chat box shortly. Okay. Because we're only just getting started. All right. Now I'm aware of time, so I'm gonna crack on fairly quickly. But I have quite some real meaty stuff to tell you here. NLP. Fortunately, we have NLP, and that's the key to matching the energy of your desire, so you can speak the language of the universe. So we're going to play a game. Remember this old game that I don't know if it's still around. I guess it is in magazines and stuff. Spot the difference. Used to see it everywhere when I was a kid. So a cartoonist draws two versions of what look at a quick glance like identical cartoons, but in fact there's lots of differences between them, and you had to get a pen and circle all the differences you could see. And sometimes there were prizes, and sometimes it was just for fun. So we're going to do that, but we're going to do it in your head, all right, and in a very unusual way. Oh, anchor the feeling. That's supposed to. That's out of sequence. Okay. So, so you're going to become the thing. Now, to become the thing, you need to change your state. So what I mean by that is this: a state in NLP terms just means the way you feel right now, the mood you're in, if you like. We're always in a state, at least when we're awake. And that state has three sides to it, three elements to it, hence the triangle. And those are your beliefs, your self-talk, and your physiology. Okay, now obviously they form one whole thing, but we can, to some degree, separate them out to just understand them. So your beliefs will be whatever you believe about why you don't have a Ferrari right now, if that's the context. Okay. And you might believe that, well, I could never earn that much money, and they're really expensive to run, and I'd probably scrape it anyway. I'm not a good a driver. Whatever, I don't know. Okay, why on earth do you believe you can't have a Ferrari? The self-talk over on the right-hand side there goes along the same kind of pathway. Okay, so out of your beliefs, what you say to yourself, the little chatterbox that's going on inside your head most of the time, because we all have that, is based on those beliefs. Yeah, well, who do you think you are trying punching above your weight, trying to buy Ferraris when you've got a beaten up Ford, and that's struggling to keep that on the road, that kind of stuff. And I'm deliberately picking on negative style self-talk because that's what most of us recognize. It's very rare, although not unknown, but it's very rare to find someone who is regularly telling themselves how good they are and what they're capable of. I can achieve anything if I want to. If I want a Ferrari, I'll find a way. It's very rare to find that unless the person has trained themselves, which is what I've done. I've spent years training and managing my mind. And that's why I'm so hot on we should teach this in schools. Right? Nobody ever asked me how I was feeling when I was at school. Never, ever. And I went through some terrible stuff, at home. And my mum died, and people knew. They just were concerned about, have you done your homework? So, anyway, the third element to your state is your physiology, your body language. Okay. Now, if you look at cartoons, I often think of The Simpsons or Peanuts for this kind of example, because those cartoonists are masters of showing us a character's mood with a few lines of a pen. All right, so just the physiology, you immediately know if Snoopy, for example, the Peanuts dog, is happy or sad or depressed, and Homer Simpson is angry. You immediately know just from and it's only a few pen lines. Okay, so we understand physiology. What most people don't realize is that, yes, your body language will reflect your mood, but also if you change your body language, it will change the way you feel too. It's a two-way street. So you can adjust your physiology and you will immediately feel different. Try it. Put a big smile on your face right now. Go on, smile. I can't see you. Even if it's a big silly grin and you've got no reason to smile at all, just do it. And you'll feel immediately different. Okay? And you might say, oh yeah, but if you knew all the things I've got to worry about and so on, yeah, well, the worries aren't going to make the things go away. But smiling, even for a few seconds, will make the feeling of worry for that period of time, even if it's only for a couple of seconds, go away. And you'll feel better. And then you can, when you stop smiling, you say, what was I worrying for? You know what you're worrying about, but what was I worrying for? Because it's not going to solve the problem. Right? Worrying won't solve the problem, whatever it is. Okay, so your physiology is very important, and it becomes a key element in what we're about to do. Also, make it your primary intention to make whoever you come in contact with feel better than before they met you. Look, you should make this a credo for your life. a motto. It's my primary intention to make whoever I come in contact with feel better than before they met me. You can write that down if you like, right? Because just think about that. If that's your focus, if you're actually, and it can be everyone. It should be everyone. It can be your significant other. It can be your kids. It can be the waitress who brings you coffee, that you have contact with for all of 20 seconds. Make her feel better than before she met you. Don't just say thank you without even making eye contact with her. Smile at her. Say thanks. That's a tough job you got there. You're on your feet all day. You probably don't get paid much. Or something. Just a compliment. It doesn't have to cost you money, although you can leave her a big tip. But in some way, if your primary intention is to give good feeling out, guess what's going to come back? It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And if you think about it, and I've mentioned this not today before, but I've mentioned this many times before in other contexts, the highest paid people, and I know this is not just about money, but it's about what we as human beings reward, is what it's about. Okay, the highest paid group of people in the world, who are they? In fact, let's see if I can get you to respond in the chat box. You're very quiet in that chat box, but let me see if I can get you to put that in. Who are... Oh, thank you. Right, okay. Thanks, Wendy, for that comment. Who are the highest paid group of people overall in the world, do you think? Is it politicians? Doctors? Teachers? No, it's none of those, is it? It's entertainers. People who entertain us. Comedians, actors, sports people. We pay, when Take That go on tour, they announce they're going to do a tour, the tickets sell out in seconds. Thousands of people buy the tickets, even though we've just been through the worst recession in living memory, still in it in some parts of the world. People are struggling for money, but they'll find the money for a ticket to go and see a concert because it makes them feel good. That's incredible. Think about that. Think about how much we value feeling good and people who make us feel good. How much we reward them. Billy Connolly, look how loved a man he is because he spent his life making other people feel good. That's what he's done. What I've just shown you is powerful and effective. Very powerful and effective. Do that process. Take the process. Take it down. Dig deep. What's the purpose of that feeling? Why do I want that feeling? Until you get to a point where you go, wow, I don't know. And then change your physiology. Change your state. Become that feeling. And make it your primary intention to come from that place and make other people, whoever you come in contact with, feel better than before they met you. It can be a hug. I wouldn't necessarily hug the coffee waitress unless you know her. You might get into some trouble. But, if it's appropriate, hug, a thank you, a compliment, or, of course, a financial reward as well. But I'm not telling you to give away money. But give away the energy of feel-good. Become like the Ferrari owner if that's what you want to be. And the Ferrari or its equivalent will in time show up just as my Mercedes did. Now, it is very effective and powerful, but we can make it more effective because you need to know as well how to deal with setbacks and losses. If all those dreams that we have when we're born with, the path that seems to find us, it's a bit like saying, I want to climb Mount Everest, but let's make it flat first. If Mount Everest was flat, there'd be nothing to climb. There'd be no point in that. No achievement in that. So we have to have setbacks. Losses happen as well. And, we lose people, we lose friends, we lose animals, and we lose status, jobs, and things that we become attached to. You need to know how to stay on track when the path is rough. We can make it more effective by understanding how to make clear decisions. If you're not clear about which path to take in life or what to do next, then the universe is going to struggle to hear you too. And you can make it more effective when you totally trust your interactions with the universe to meet every one of your needs and desires. Now, I told you before, I've now reached the point where I'm able to say, yeah, that feels good. I know what I'm doing. I don't know how it's going to work out. But I know that's the right thing for me to do. I feel great when I do it, and I trust that, and I know how to put myself in that state. Okay, this is state. Whoops, state. Oh yeah, anchor the feeling. Let me go back to that because I missed that was out of sequence. I don't know how it ended up there. When you get the good feeling that you want, you should anchor it. So what that means is what I mean by that is like an anchor is one thing reminds you of another. The best example I can give of this, or an easy one to understand, is when advertisers get us to feel a certain way and link it to their product. One of the most famous examples of that in advertising history was when Michael Jackson was paid a huge amount of money to advertise Pepsi Cola, right? And he publicly stated that he would not drink Pepsi, and he refused to have his image on the cans or any of the promotional material. And he didn't want to appear with Pepsi in the adverts. So Pepsi had to design the adverts so that you saw Michael Jackson, then the Pepsi, Michael Jackson, then the Pepsi, and so on. But I didn't stop them paying him the money and hiring him for the campaign. Why? Because Pepsi understood that back then Michael Jackson was the best-selling musical artist of all time. He might still be, for all I know. Which meant that millions of people around the world felt good when they heard him sing and saw him dance. So they wanted to get that feeling associated with Pepsi, which they successfully did. They paid him a lot of money, and they made a lot more back because sales of Pepsi rocketed. Okay, so what I need you to do, when you get the good feeling, the feeling you want to become, you just want to anchor it in. And the way to do that, easy way to do that, is just feel the feeling, crank it up, do the, oh, I didn't play the game. Oh, I'm so sorry. The spot the difference game, what you do is you take the good feeling that you want and a feeling that you have now, and in your head you notice how the good feeling looks when you bring it to mind. So you bring to mind the feeling of the one when you list on the paper, the Ferrari. I want that because this, until you get to I don't know. There's no words for that. That's the feeling that you want. Then you find a memory that already feels like that. Okay, you don't have a Ferrari, so you don't have any memories of that, but you have memories that go with that particular set of good feelings. You find a memory and you notice how you make the pictures, how it looks, how bright the colors are, how big the images are. Is it three-dimensional, two-dimensional, all of that. And then you open your eyes, clear the screen, and go to the feeling that you have right now, which is like, well, I could never have that, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to move the picture across until it matches, not the actual what's happening, but the qualities of it. So the brightness of the image, the size of it, if one's two-dimensional, one's three-dimensional, you change one to the other, so that every quality in the not so good feeling matches the quality in the good feeling. I hope that makes sense. I'm really sorry that I took that out of sequence. Okay, so you keep doing that, and then when it all matches and it's like, yes, I've got it, I feel good now, then you squeeze your thumb and middle finger, tip of your thumb and middle finger together for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and release. And then open your eyes, do it again. 1, and make the picture, find another one if you need to, but make the good picture, brighten it, do whatever you need to do to enhance that positive feeling. Bring it together, thumb and finger together, open your eyes, do it again. It takes 20-30 seconds tops to do that, and you do it 5 or 6 times, so you're going to spend like 2.5-3 minutes on that. Okay, then throughout the day, you keep squeezing your thumb and finger together, and you'll notice that what it does is just brings up a little like electric jolt of that feeling, that good feeling. All right, do that in idle moments, when you're in the bathroom, when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, when you're walking the dog, whatever, the idle moments. Okay, that's what you do, and that's how you anchor the feeling. That's called anchoring the feeling. So then you've got it with you. So then when you go out and about and you're talking to the waitresses and so on, you put yourself in that state by anchoring the feeling and make it your primary intention to make other people feel good, so you're giving it out. Now, to take you back to where I was. So we can make it more effective. So you need to know how to deal with setbacks and losses. You need to understand how to make clear decisions. You need to be able to totally trust your interactions with the universe. That means as well trusting your intuition, what I call your higher guidance as well, whether you believe in that or not. You need to be able to trust it. To take you to those levels, I have a new program, and there's a small fee. Are you interested? Now, I know you're not answering me much in the chat box, so I'm going to take your silence as a yes. Entertain us, Jeff. Yes, you got it. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna assume you're interested. So I'm gonna move on. I've called it Law of Attraction Maestro. Okay. So here's what it is. When you master your mind, you control your destiny. Now, I think I've demonstrated that in this presentation, but there's far, far more, because your mind is, the Buddhists call it the monkey in the mind. You know, it's running around all the time, out of control, telling you, you know, you can't do this, and what your limitations are, and be realistic, and all that kind of stuff. I've mentioned a couple of times, nobody taught us this in school, and they should have done. You know, if there'd been just one person or one department in school that had been able to say to us kids, do you know you don't have to feel that anxious about exams? I'll show you how to stop feeling anxious. And it takes, NLP can do that in 3 minutes. Right? But when you blend it, when you mix it together with the power of the law of attraction, the impossible becomes possible in your life. So but it has to start with your mind. You can't just push the universe around by doing a bit of visualization and imagining and thinking, now the Ferrari's going to show up in my driveway. It doesn't work like that. So here's what you'll discover: how to fully appreciate your power and its limits, because there are limits. You know, you're not going to go out there and create planets or even a daisy. I don't know how to do that, but you might. I was going to say you might actually know how to make a daisy show up in your reality. I don't think it's too difficult, really. But how to fully appreciate what is your power, what is yours, what the life energy that is within you, what it's really capable of. You'll also discover how to be the one who stays calm when chaos reigns, because this is about inner peace. When you actually connect with that place inside you, you are the one who, you know, like you sometimes see in movies, you see like the hero in the battle scene, and the hero kind of is in slow motion and just making his way through all the chaos and just kind of going, right, stop, everybody stop, you know, and somehow is able to bring calm to chaos. How to keep the ego happy and allow your inner free spirit to experience the joy you were always meant to live with. That's a really bad sentence. But what this is about freeing the spirit. Okay, your spirit, the one that the ego says, as I mentioned already, the ego is the self-talk, the one that says you can't, you're not good enough, or you're too old, too young, too fat, too thin, too tall, too short, wrong color, whatever. You know, and the spirit's the one that's going, there's so much more I want to be, and so much more I want to do with my life, and so many more dreams to fulfill, and I want my kids to have this, and I want my, you know, I want other people around me to feel, you know, and I could give that to them, whatever. That's the spirit. You'll also discover how to find your true purpose in life and live it fully. Look, you can't ask you can ask the universe for stuff, but it's going to be short-lived entertainment. You know, like what you ask Santa for Christmas when you're a kid. Your true purpose in life is your path, and when you follow it, when you know what it is and you live it fully, then you know what you need, and then you know how to get it provided. By the same token, you begin to find out and discover who you really, really are. You'll also discover why pursuing happiness is a waste of time. You can't pursue happiness, because if you're pursuing happiness, you're not happy while you're pursuing it. You'll never catch it. When you stop pursuing it, when you know how to stop pursuing it, it will pursue you. It'll just follow you around. I'll show you as well the benefits of meditation, inner peace, even more, how to truly love yourself without being arrogant or boastful. I'm not talking about, yeah, look, I'm great. No, that's not loving yourself. Really love yourself, because when that makes you a happy, healthy human being, that's the energy people love being around. That's what's attractive to opportunity and to the universe. It's vital that you do that. It's really vital. As I mentioned already, how to trust your intuition and higher guidance, how to find, follow, and ultimately fulfill every one of your personal dreams, and how to become a force for good in the world, because you're going to be putting this energy out there. Now, I know some people kind of, I don't want to be like a world leader. I don't mean that. It can be your personal world. It can be your household. It can be just you and the cat. But to be putting out that kind of positive energy makes a difference. Drop a pebble in the pond and the ripples will make the boat rock on the other side of the pond or the other side of the lake. Right? You make a difference in a positive way. What you're actually going to get is 1 or 2 video lessons per month. Sometimes you get audio lessons as well, depending on the topic. Powerful manifestation processes, many blended with NLP, to amplify them and make them work faster. Assignments, so you can practice and become a maestro in no time. And group coaching, live, twice a month. That's the core of it, really. That's the beating heart of it. You get me twice a month in group coaching. Okay, there will be a minimum of 6 months of course material, and here's an extraordinary bonus. Once you become a member, you become a member for life. The ongoing live coaching sessions will go on indefinitely until we all agree to stop. They will go on for at least the duration of the video sessions, and probably well beyond. And if there are more topics that arise, I will add more video training as those issues arise, for life. So this isn't like a course with a beginning, and it has a beginning, but it doesn't necessarily have an end, because I'm aware that as I've learned this stuff, more and more and more layers and things have revealed themselves to me. There's a huge amount of stuff here, and it just depends how deep as a group we want to go, really. So, and we will all learn from each other, I'm sure. So I certainly have an agenda that will take us through minimum 6 months. But when you become a member of the Law of Attraction Maestro program, you're a member for life. Okay. Plus, second bonus, an exclusive Facebook group, which is going to be a safe environment for members to meet each other and me, and means technically you have access to coaching from me 7 days a week. I'm not there 24 hours a day, obviously, but I do spend a fair amount of time at my computer. Most days of the week I'm online for some of the time, and so not only will you be able to talk to each other, but you'll be able to access me, and I will be checking in pretty regularly. Now, because this is an intimate and deep topic and an intimate group, I want to keep this to an intimate group. So I'm going to take a maximum of 20 participants at any one time. And obviously, people over lifetimes will come and go, but right now it's brand new. There's no one in the group except me. So you have a chance here to get in right at the beginning. And you're going to want to stay with me. And I know I've taken a bit of time, so I'm hoping that you can forgive me for that. I hope it's been worth it so far, because I have something very, very special to show you, and that's coming up shortly, but not yet, because I want to keep that for a surprise. Okay, so 20 participants maximum. This is going to be deep and intimate. We're going to really get to the nitty-gritty of this. It's powerful, powerful stuff I'm going to put you in touch with. And it also enables me to give everyone time, because, you know, if we have like hundreds of people on the course, then there's no way that I can spread myself that thinly. So places are limited. Okay, so what's the cost? So let's recap. The video and the assignments are every month to amplify your manifesting skills and master the law of attraction at speed. There'll be 2 live coaching calls per month. There'll be access to the private Facebook group and lifetime membership and ongoing coaching. So it's forever. All these things will change for the better when you sign up. You will genuinely like the person that you are. You'll feel fulfilled and satisfied every day. Just imagine what that's like. You'll know with certainty how to follow your dreams and turn them into reality. And you'll become a force for good in the world who makes a significant contribution to the well-being of others in some unique way. We all have our own ways of doing that. This will change your life and others. Now look, if you went to college to change your life and learn some skills, it would cost you upwards of $40,000 and probably 2 to 4 years of your life, and you'd probably never use it anyway. Right? How many people do you know went to college and never used the stuff they learned? My hand is up here, by the way. If you went to see a shrink, it could take years out of your life, cost you thousands of dollars, and possibly still leave you wondering how to manage your life. Right? So that the answers, maybe for some people, are there, but I don't think that puts people on their own track in the way that this can. So, look, this is big stuff. It's serious stuff. It's deep stuff. It's serious in a fun way, but it's serious in the sense that this is about actually making your life what you want it to be. So here at last is a chance to take charge of your destiny, become the person you know deep down you should be, and live the life you've always dreamed of. And it's in your hands. What's that worth? I'm going to say that's priceless. So, Law of Attraction Maestro program is only $2,997 for life. But I'm going to make you an introductory offer because I want to get this going. So I'm not going to ask you for that amount of money today. If you are one of the first group of 20 people, you will only pay not $2,997, not even $2,500. I'm taking off an entire $1,000. So it's just making the cost today just $1,997 for lifetime membership. I just am going to push a button here so that you should get a button come up on your screen in a moment. I'm hoping you will. It's not registering at all. Okay, not working well. We'll have to live without that. Try once more. No. Okay, so I have one more surprise for you. If you prefer an easy payment option, oh, there we go. If you prefer an easy payment option, there should be a button appearing on your screen in a second or two that you can take you to the page. You can pay in 3 installments of $699, spaced 14 days apart. But that wasn't the surprise. Keep watching. This is why you'd be crazy to pass up on this. You're going to fully step into your personal power to create the life you've always wanted. Manifest the life you desire from the very start. You'll be the one who stays calm when chaos is reigning all around you, and you'll free your spirit to experience the joy you were always meant to have. That's an incredible agenda, as well as you'll find your true purpose in life and live it fully. You'll know who you really are. It relieves the fear of taking risks when you know who you really are, because you know you're following your path, you know you're following your guidance. You'll know why pursuing happiness is a waste of time, because it will pursue you, and I'll show you how to do that. And you'll live from your heart and feel the passion for life every day. Imagine how good that feels. Now, join now and be one of the first 20. There should be a button on your screen. You can either click that or just go to wizardofwisdom.com/LOA-maestro/. I don't think the last slash will make any difference. Wizardofwisdom.com LOA-maestro, or if you click the button that's on your screen, it will take you there. But I promised you one more surprise. So, if you are one of the first 5 people who sign up, here's what you do. Because when you get to that page, you will see that there are 2 options. One to sign up for the to pay all at once or want to sign up for the easy payment option. But above those buttons, you will see a little box that says enter coupon code. If you choose to pay for the whole program, so it's your lifetime membership paid for forever, you put in the coupon box first 5 in capitals, FIRST number 5. Don't put the quotes, just those letters and that number, FIRST 5, first 5, and then click the button. If you go for the easy payment option, you put first 5 sub, because that's subscriptions. First 5 sub. Don't put the quotes in, just that code in the coupon box. The coupon will only work 5 times. So the first 5 people who do this will get $300 discount. So that you will either pay $1,697 or you'll pay 3 lots of $599 instead of $699. So it's $1,697 instead of $1,997, or 3 times $599 instead of 3 times $699. But the coupons will only work 5 times. So the first 5 people who get there and put those coupon codes in the box will get that discount. Okay, so I hope that's been worth your while. We've been going just under an hour and a half, so I thank you very much for your time. And I will leave those instructions up on the screen, but I'm going to minimize the slide so I can see your chat box. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions, comments, feedback? Please, if you're going to throw flowers, take them out of the pot first. That hurts. Okay, so I'm going to open this up fully so I can reply to you as well. There we go. Okay, so any questions? Anything at all? I hope it's made sense. I'm really sorry that I skipped over the spot the difference game. So I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions about that, please ask me. If you want to go through that again, I understand. Okay, you're all very quiet. So either I've sent you to sleep, or I've been absolutely brilliant and you understand everything, or you're all over at wizardofwisdom.com LOA-maestro trying to be the first 5 members. Okay. Has this been useful, folks? Has this been of any value to you? Have you found this valuable? Thank you, Jamil, for your comment. Thank you, Colin. Anna, thank you. Okay. Does anyone have anything they want to say before I close this out? I'm just hoping that from my end, the chat box is working. It seems to be working. It was working earlier, definitely. I'm just holding on in case. Oh, hi, Wendy. Yes, thank you. Yes, so it is working, obviously. Okay. Wendy's just saying yes, it was valuable. It wasn't a question, so the rest of you don't think I'm ignoring Wendy. Okay. Does it make sense? Do you have some idea now, some understanding of why the secret doesn't seem to work. Okay, well, you're a very good class. But if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to thank you once again for your time and your attention, which has been amazing. And I will bid you all a fond farewell and hope to see you in the members area very soon. By the way, as soon as you sign up, you'll have access to session 1 immediately. As soon as you join the Law of Attraction Maestro program. You won't get all the sessions at once. They don't come like that. They come over time as they're required, once or twice a month. All right. Thank you all once again for your time and attention. Whatever time it is in your part of the world, enjoy the rest of your day. It's mid-afternoon on Saturday here in the United Kingdom. I know a few of you are from the UK here, but I don't think everybody is. I'm sure you're all not from the United Kingdom. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon in the members area and or elsewhere. So this is Trevor Emdon from wizardofwisdom.com signing off.